rearming.
Copy. Rearming complete.
request rearming.
Copy. Rearming complete.
Check.
Check.
Yeah, I didn't hear you pling in there. Didn't realise you were in the. I totally forgot about Discord. Normally,
Yeah.
I'd hear someone pling in, and it reminds me have I joined the thing or not?
You'll only get that noise if you're already in the channel.
If you're already in it, right? Oh, of course. Yeah. The difference is you've joined the channel before me this time. It's normally the other way round, isn't it? Yeah.
Talking to you couldn't try
hang on. I can't hear you. I'll bring you up. Hold on. Sorry, try that.
check it.
That's a bit better. I should have pushed you up more. I could only stay on that screen for a short time, obviously. Yeah, go on. I'll listen carefully.
I was chatting to Prof in chat, and he was saying he couldn't try on the Omni 2 because he said he already owned it, even though he hasn't bought it.
Oh. Well, that's odd.
I don't quite understand what's going on.
I did have a thing where it said you've already bought it, or you've already got it in your basket, because I've obviously I accidentally did it twice or something. But I only let me buy it once, and it did let me buy it.
No, but what you said, yeah, you've already got it in your basket, but then I had on the basket, I got a flashing thing saying you already have a license for this one. I can't remember if they said that there was a special thing about you don't have to upgrade or something. I can't remember. If you don't upgrade, you don't get everything.
Was that the trial?
That's right. No, I think there's something about Normandy too.
Oh, you mean
Normandy 2 I don't think is a distinct map. There's just something really weird about it. Alright, I'll have to see if I can find the news piece.
Oh, okay.
Put it on here so you can hear what I'm saying as well. DCS Normandy 2 is 2.5 times the latest technology, a new enhanced lighting engine, object detailing, blah blah blah. The early access price Normandy 2 is there. However, Normandy 1944 can upgrade. Please be relative at the time. It doesn't really say that there's anything going on that's different. Right, okay, so if you already own Normandy 1944,
Or the other one.
Updated.
Or the channel.
I'm just reading. Why?
Yeah, the way I understand it, it's...
no, hang on. The channel map remains a separate map made by Eagle Dynamics and has not been updated regarding this route.
Yeah.
In the corner where there is some map overlap, details between the maps may not match up. Normandy 2 has different airfields, high detail area focus versus the channel. If you own Normandy 1944, the 1944, so Normandy 1, will be updated for free, so the whole area of the original map
Oh, yes,
is
yeah.
in the same high detail as the DCS 92. We've still got to play. Okay, so the channel map is actually... Or they confuse the situation by saying if you own both, it's a cheaper upgrade, but in actual fact, the channel has got nothing to do with Normandy 2.
Apart from the fact that Normandy 2 includes a new version of the channel?
No, it doesn't. That's what it says there. Is DCS channel remains a separate map and has not been updated.
Yeah, it's a separate map, but I think it's also included on Normandy 2. That's the way I understand it. Normandy 2 is a join of Normandy and the channel. But the other old channel map...
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
In the corner where there is some overlap, details between the two maps will not match up.
Yeah, but are they talking about the Normandy and the separate old channel map? The way I understood it was that the
they're talking about Normandy 2.
Normandy 2 on its own, forget all the rest, also includes a channel map. That's the way I understand it. But you still got the old channel map. Yeah, oh right, okay. Fly it. Have a look. Well, I don't have to fly it. I suppose I can just go to it and go on the map and look.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know the difference with the old channel and the new one area because I haven't got the channel.
Well, yeah, but the new one goes up to London, doesn't it? You've got Big Ben and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I don't think you had that on the channel map before. You didn't get as far up as actual London on the old channel map.
I'll put a link in. Doesn't it? I'll put a link in chat for people listening on my site.
Yep.
I could open up your stream and chuck it in your chat as well.
Yep.
Your stream looks very washed out.
Washed out, does it? What would do that? What on
https://forum.forward/topic/forward/32418-normandy-20-fact-updated/.
Unless it's your texture thing you've got.
Well, it looks, to me, it looks fine. Yeah, so I'm running reshade, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
What's your gamma set to?
Hold on. Two.
Mine's set to 1.6.
I've come across this 1.6 before. I'm going to push this down to 1.6 then. When that takes effect, but it's affected it for me as I look. I'll OK it and see if it affects it on the stream.
Well, no, if you can see it, it'll be on the stream straight away.
Okay.
Yeah, the greens look a little bit richer now.
Oh, okay. When I was flying earlier on in Normandy, the colours were, the cockpit, the dashboard is almost like a slight orangey colour, and it was wrong. On reshade, you got the option for something like colourfulness, so I checked that and brought the colour down a tad, not a lot. But that should still look, even with that, it should still have looked okay. But if you're saying it looks better now, that's fine.
Request repair. Copy. Request refueling. Request
Copy.
rearming.
Copy. Refueling complete. Rearming complete.
Have they perhaps increased the bird song? I'm getting loads of bird song while I'm sitting on the side of the runway. I mean, it's not objectionable, but I just feel as though they might have increased it. Simply made it louder so that the stuff that's further away notices, whereas perhaps it didn't before. I'm just getting repaired. I hope I'm not. I shouldn't be in the way. I'm on the right hand side of the runway as you fly west to east. On the one side. 40 seconds to go.
I'm just in messing around in helicopters, so I'm out to one side anyway.
Oh, okay. I just had a nice little sortie. I went out and I got 3 of the 109s. That was quite pleasant.
Not bad.
I still had ammo left when I got back, which surprised me a bit. Oh no, hang on, no, I'm mixing the two sorties up. I probably did run out of ammo, or at least got low on the 109s, but I then went to the tanks. The tanks to the wet in a field, the line of tanks in a field to the west of the bridge. And then, yeah, when I came back from that, I had to get repaired because I got a bit too close to one of my own explosions, and it damaged me.
Right.
I lost my ability to control RPM, and wings were shot up. Okay, I think I'm ready to go.
thing when you've done repair and the guns don't go?
Not that I can remember consciously. Or maybe maybe I did get that some time ago when we were doing the well, what do you call it? What's the bunch that the other bunch? Oh, it's annoying. I can't remember the name of them because I'm flying and I'm looking, I'm doing rather than thinking. Yeah, the ones that run the server that I sometimes fly in.
Not entirely following.
Sorry?
Not entirely following.
Can't remember the bunch of the people that do the server that I fly in, and the, what would it be? It's the Normandy server. We've both flown in it. The Grim Reapers, that's it. So annoying, I can't remember their name. Now, why I was going to say about the Grim Reapers, I've forgotten, damn it. Is there an altitude above which those ground units to the north of the airfield are less likely to be able to hit us? Like, you know, perhaps 6,000 or something. If you go to that high, are they less likely to be able to hit you? No, or appreciably less likely.
What you mean? Air to ground missile, ground to air missile, the SAMs?
Oh no, just ground to air, anything. Because when I decide I'm going to go do a bit of air practice, air target practice, I have to weave my way through all those units that are on the ground because they'll shoot me down. Because I'm probably at about 2,000 feet. I'm just thinking, if I'm at 6,000 feet, does that put me out of danger from those units?
Yeah, so I'm not following what units the BTRs?
The ground units, all the ground units to the north of the airfield.
Yeah, but they're different ground units.
I know, but they all seem to be able to shoot me.
Yeah, but they're going to have different altitudes. So probably about 15,000 maybe.
Oh, okay, that's the real save. Okay, for some of them I suppose it would be 6,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I noticed when I flew over them recently, I was on about 6,000 and I wasn't getting stuff coming up at me. But that might be the route I was taking, so I wasn't encountering stuff that can hit me higher up. I found a fighter to go for. It might be the last of the 4. I am finding on the map, when you look at your aircraft and other aircraft, that little pointer that sticks out indicating the direction of flight, I am finding that quite helpful.
Yeah. Well, that's another nice easy kill. Oh, 4 more fighters just spawned.
Copy. Copy. Positive evidence that they shoot my tyres. I just put my gear down, jumped out and looked, and one of my tyres is already flat. And my port tyre is going to give me issues. Of course, it's something that I wouldn't know as a real pilot until I landed.
Request repair.
Copy.
Request refueling.
Okay,
Request rearming.
I'm getting repaired, so I'll take advantage of that and take a comfort break.
Okay.
Refueling complete. Rearming complete.
Hey Bill, laughing smiley. Hi. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor, the quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on. Incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel.
Josh
Everything
Gerlach.
is in your hands. Turn it on /off /customize. Go to dogipe.com.
So, Josh Gerlach, are you still there? I was away from keyboard briefly.
Do you talk? Happy smiley.
I do talk, yeah. Yeah, I was away from keyboard, so I've only just got back. So, yeah, I chat. Have you seen my stream before, Josh? Can't remember.
Yes.
So I should probably
That's
spend
good.
time
Stand
with your
by.
chat open more often.
Sorry, say again?
I should probably spend more time with your chat open when you're live.
How do you mean?
Because
What, the chat?
you get.
Go on.
I was just because when I
You're on
posted
a
that link
call.
in earlier on, it was I left the chat window open, and I just noticed that thing about, oh yeah, would you like marketing or whatever it was about your channel. And that's just basically a bot,
yeah.
and it goes around and they do
Yeah.
that on loads of channels, and it gets on everyone's nerves. And
Yeah.
they're automated accounts, and they're not really allowed on Twitch. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm not sure. Yeah, mine was on Twitch as well, I think. I blocked it anyway. Hang on a minute. Stand by, Josh. Stand by. Yeah. No, I'm not on a call. I'm with Laxor. Laxor is in this mission, and we talk on Discord whilst we are flying. So stand by. Okay. Sorry. I've just explained that because the person on my stream thought I was on a call, but I'll just say no, it's not on a call.
oh yeah, I
as
saw
such.
that. Yeah.
Of course, if you've got the chat open, you've seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean about the value of that.
Oh, did you ban them or block them?
I blocked the one offering publicity or whatever.
Yeah, I think it blocked it for you personally, but what it didn't do was prevent it from coming.
No, well, I only blocked it when it was halfway through its message.
Right. Of course, it would have all been read out. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been read out, but what the
we
thing is,
can-
it won't happen again. That's all.
How long have you been streaming?
I've just been asked by Josh on my stream, how long have we been streaming? How long have I been streaming? A bit before you, I think.
Fine.
Was that 5 years then?
I would say, yeah, if I'm 4, you must be 4.5 to 5.
Yeah, every possibility. Yeah. So Josh, yeah, being you can hear me when I speak on to Alexa as well. Yeah, about 5 years I've been streaming one way or another. Josh, I was going to take a Spitfire again. Do you want me to take something else?
Geez, you deserve more subs for 5 years.
Well, I'm not. I'm honestly not worried about subs. I'm not after
It's
promoting
all right,
myself.
take any plane you want, I just got here, haha.
Okay, no, I don't have any inkling to get lots of subs. I'm really not worried about subs, so that's fine. I do it because I figure there are people out there who perhaps would like to be able to do it but don't have the resource to be able to do it, and the next best thing is perhaps to watch someone else do it and see how nice it is. So and that's why I do it, and for the interaction with people such as yourself.
Then what do you stream for?
Just for the interaction, maybe, if people would like to interact, and so that people can watch if they want to.
Oh, sorry, I asked before you said LOL.
Yeah, and that's the trouble with the delay. Don't worry, it's fine. Yeah, with the delay, which I can't change. There is a delay. I think it's about 13 seconds, maybe 13 seconds there and 13 back. I don't know, but yeah, there is a delay which I've got no control over. So if I fly the Spit again, Josh, would you like me to talk through what I'm doing with regarding starting the Spit, etc.? Or I can just do it, or I can show you, or talk about it. I can explain, or just do it. What do you reckon?
Sure thing.
Sure thing, I assume means talk about it. Does it? Okay, I'll get back in. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get a new aircraft.
Only what you want to do.
I'll get a new aircraft. I'll make it a Spit because that is my favourite aircraft. I'll get another aircraft, and that'll be cold and dark, and I'll talk through the start-up, taxi, etc. If you haven't heard that already before, have you watched me, or have you heard me talking about the start-up of a Spit before? I don't want to bore you with it, but if you haven't heard it before, I'll do it. The question is, have you heard it before?
No, I have just found your channel.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Hold on. Okay, that's great. Let's spawn in with a cold and dark aircraft. Right, now you might have noticed that it was zoomed out a little bit when I first got in, and I've pushed my little button and I've set it to a position which I believe is much more like what a pilot would see actually sitting in the Spit. It was sort of further back before, but I don't think he wouldn't have the luxury of that much room. It's a tight compartment, is the Spit cockpit. So, okay, so here's the Spit. Let's jump out. The most beautiful aircraft ever made.
I have never really played DCS, haha.
Oh, if you get the option, do it because it's great. Your PC will want a bit of grunt. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to do it on a laptop. You probably want to be a desktop, and it wants a bit of grunt behind it because it does take a little bit. But if you tone it all down a bit, take the lower settings, you'd be able to do it.
I don't have a PC, sad smiley.
Not a PC. Oh, not a laptop.
I only really play War Thunder on PS4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. War Thunder's great too. We don't really do War Thunder now. It has changed a lot actually since I first started doing it. It has changed a lot, and for me, it's changed for the worse. It might be regarded as great that you can have different, like you have air, ground, sea, and that might seem great. But what happened was it was only air at one time. So the player base was spread among all those, among air combat. So you could get combat easily. There were so many people. There were so many people there doing it. Then they brought in, the tanks and the boats, and that's so. Then the player base gets spread between like those different types of battle. So it makes it more difficult to find a battle that you want. And then to make it worse, I know it's supposed to be better, but for me, to make it worse, they introduced a whole lot more countries. Now for me to fly, because I use sim, I'm not having markers, for me to fly in a battle and try to recognise all the aircraft of all those different countries so that I don't shoot down a friendly, that's very, very uncomfortable. So we have to choose our battles carefully, and even then occasionally
you seem to be very knowledgeable about this stuff.
Well, I don't know about knowledgeable, it's stuff that I've picked up along the way. But yeah, so War Thunder's great, but War Thunder is a game, but it's a great game. But DCS is a sim. It can't be called a game. Although we talk about playing in DCS, it's a sim. It's very accurate. I'm not sure what the explosions are. Sure we're not getting scuds coming in. Stand by. No, I'm not seeing scuds coming in. I think Laxor must have got rid of them, so I don't know what those explosions are. Oh wait, it's probably our tanks over there. There's a convoy of tanks that come in to try to hit the airfield.
So you prefer propeller planes over jets?
Absolutely, sir. I definitely prefer prop aircraft. I've got a jet. I've got the Harrier in this, and I do fly it, but not all that often. I definitely prefer props. I prefer the Warbirds, most certainly. And that's why I fly the Spit all the time, because it's such a gorgeous aircraft. Couple of interesting points about the Spit. I can ask you or I can explain. Would you like a little quiz, or would you like me to just tell you?
Ha ha, you can do whatever.
Okay, well the thing is, when I got someone that I'm telling them about the Spit, there's a few things to know about the Spit. Wow, bang bang bang. One of the things I say is, do they know what these blobs are? And most times people just don't know. They're not going to know. There's no reason why they would. I didn't know until I got into this. Well, obviously, if I turn it on, you'll see that the Spit. Turned it off again because it would normally be off at this stage. The Spit has an illuminated sight, obviously, and this cable here, there's a socket on the end of it. You pull that out, and inside that socket is a light bulb, and that's that light bulb that shines up and produces your illuminated sight just there on this reflecting glass. Well, with takeoff and bouncing about and perhaps vibration of the guns occasionally, the element in this light bulb would blow, because obviously it wasn't LED, they were incandescent, and if the bulb goes, you've got no sight. So they are spare bulbs. So you have to holler out to your opponent in your dogfight, hold on a minute, I've got to change a light bulb. So that's something that most people won't know, and I find it interesting. Another thing is that I'll explain the lights in a minute. Oh, no, I'll put all the lights on now before I start up. So I'll put on the nav lights. So there's your red and the green wingtip lights. And also I can adjust these switches here so that when I jump out, hang on, jump back in again, there's a button just there. When I jump out again, when I press that button in the aircraft, it lights up that light that's on the top of the fuselage. So if I'm in battle and my radio gets shot up, I can still communicate with the rest of the section by using Morse code. So once again, I didn't know that, most people won't know that, so it's just something I like to explain. Right, yeah, what you're hearing there is our tanks are hitting that convoy, fortunately.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
so
it is,
you
isn't
know
it?
Morse code or no?
I did when I was an air cadet years ago, decades ago. Yeah, part of our thing was to know Morse code, but I've forgotten it all. If you don't use it, you do definitely lose it. Well, unless of course you're using it in a functional capacity. I'm sure that people in the Air Force and the Navy, after all many years, even though they haven't used it in the same way, they will have remembered it, I'm sure, as part of their life. That's Laxor, I think, in the Huey that just went past. Right, so back to this. The thing about the Spit is it's different to different from other aircraft, in as much as other aircraft have toe brakes. The Spitfire doesn't have toe brakes. What you do is you have to use the brake. That's the brake lever in the middle there. Hang on, let's move my beer. You have to use the brake in combination with the rudder, and I'll explain that a bit later as I actually do it. Right, so the thing I need to do is put the brake on, because otherwise when I start the engine it might start pulling the aircraft forward when I'm not ready for that to happen. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the prop pitch fully forward, which is fully fine. So those things I'll do before I start. I also like to put the panel lights on in case I get into an area where the panel is in shadow and not so easy to see. And there's a couple of buttons under these covers, the starter and booster. So I've got to open the covers, and now I can press those buttons when I need to. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to press them, as simple as that, because they're covered up. Right, so I now want to throw some switches back because they're still in the position that I left them. Hold on. Right, so I'm going to start put the fuel pump on.
What's the difference between the starter and booster?
I'm not actually sure. I just know that you have to use the starter. It's a booster coil. I don't know that. You know what? I'm gonna have to look that up now you've asked it. I'm gonna have to ask Google what the booster is for. But you've got the starter button, which actually turns the engine, and the booster. No, you've got me there, mate. You've actually got me there. I'll have to find that out because I don't like the idea of not being able to answer that question. I've just taken it for granted all that time. So yeah, starter and booster. So we have to press the starter and booster. That was to get the engine turning over. And then when the engine's turning over, I flick the mixture control lever forward, and then we're starting to run properly. But before I do any of that, I need other things to happen. And the first thing I do is put on my electrics. There's a switch, if I can just get to it. Oh, I just about see it, just there. That switch there turns on the, and I could click that. I don't need to, because the way you would do it is to push the throttle forward, and that catches that switch and turns it on. But because it's forward, when you pull back, the switch doesn't reach it anymore, so it doesn't turn it off. So the switch is on. We now see that my gear is down, so the electrics are on. We should see that I've got volts and stuff. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. It's so easy when I'm talking about it to forget to do stuff. So the brake is on, prop pitch is fully forward, fully fine. I'll start my fuel pump. Hopefully you'll hear that. It's not very loud, but I can hear it. And then I'll open the fuel cock, which is that lever in the center of the screen. Right, so the fuel pump is on, the fuel cock is open, but we need a spark, so I need to turn on my magneto. Little switches at the back of my throttle unit for that. Okay, we've got fuel turned on, fuel cock is open, we've got magnetos turned on, the brake is on, prop pitch is fully fine. So now I need to prime it. I'll give it 5 pumps on a spit on an ordinary day like this. Unlocking it first. Now relock it. Now I can press those 2 buttons. Well, I can't do it with the mouse. So this is pretty much the only time that I use my keyboard, almost. These are delete and end keys to push the starter and booster buttons. Once the engine is turning over and starting to catch, I can flick the mixture lever forward, and then we'll be running. But I'll just crack the throttle a bit, that much, and do that. Okay, so we've started a spit, and theoretically you should be able to do that in a real spit using that information. I'll set my altimeter to 0. I'll set my nose down in preparation for takeoff. I'll set my nose down to 1 division of nose down. So nose turret down trim, 1 division down. It's currently 2 divisions up. That was a good question though about the booster. I'm definitely going to have to find out.
So how long does it normally take you to go from a cold start to in the air?
I don't really time it, but very often I divert myself, as I am now, by chatting about other stuff, but not long, seconds rather than minutes, if you know what I mean. But in a spit that is, but in a Harrier the whole thing takes longer. In the jets, the whole and the choppers, the whole thing is likely to take a lot longer because there's much more to do. Even though there's a lot of automation once you're flying, getting the thing started is there's a procedure to go through. Right, so I've set that nose down trim. I now need to set my rudder trim. So the general convention is the double D wants to be just around about the 12 o'clock mark or beyond. About that is probably normal for me anyway. Okay, now in theory I should ask for permission. So I've turned my radio to the appropriate channel, and I'll ask permission. I should have asked permission to start up. Let's see if they'll let me do that.
Mazda. Colt 1-1. Request startup.
Okay, I'm not sure if the radio functions have got a bug in them, because I noticed this earlier on another evening where they weren't responding. They should say clear for startup, but maybe it's just that I've got the wrong channel selected, but I'm sure that it's channel A, so I don't think it's that. Okay, we'll forget the radio then. We won't worry about asking permission. I don't normally anyway, I just do it. So, right. I've done the nose down, I've set my rudder trim, and it never feels right to see this stick moving in a ghostly fashion. So if I was actually in a spit, I would see my hand on it. That's why I like to put the pilot in place. That to me is more like what I should see if I was sitting in a spit. I would see my hand, probably gloved, hanging on to the stick. Right, so now we're ready to taxi. I'm not going to ask permission because we know it's probably not going to work. So to taxi, as I've said earlier, if I want to turn left, it's left rudder and apply some brake. At the moment the brake is fully on, but I'll take the brake off. When the brake is fully off, I'll move forward, left rudder, and apply some brake. So let's do that. Brake off.
It must be confusing holding a jet stick on a Spitfire XD.
Well, it's just what I'm used to. Oh, you mean you're talking about me using this Warthog, yeah? No, it's just what I'm used to, so that's not a problem. I'd much rather it was a real stick, of course, but there you go. So left rudder and brake. To turn left, left rudder and rake. Rudder and rake, rudder and brake. About 1300 revs for taxiing, if not less. Trying to show my feet, but I have to look down. And when I look down, I end up looking over the top of my glasses. So I have to squidge my nose up to push my glasses up so that I can still see. It's most uncomfortable. So watch what's happening with the rudder and the brake lever. On other aircraft such as the P-51 or a P-47, you don't have to worry about that because it's got toe brakes. So I'm tilting my foot forward now, not sliding it. If I slide it forward, it does that. If I tilt it forward, it does nothing. But on a P-51, P-47, it actually tilts, and that is the brake. So if I tilt my left foot forward, I'm braking on the left wheel. Right foot forward, braking on the right wheel. Not so with a spit. This is accurate. This is the way it works on a spit. Right, now briefly for takeoff, I'm going to throttle back. I'll take the brake off, full right aileron, throttle up, and I'll be trying to dance on the rudder pedals well to keep myself straight, and then gradually letting the stick forward. Eventually she will start, the nose will drop because the tail will have come up, and then I will reach in the region of, I don't know, 80-90 miles an hour, and I should be able to just pull back on the stick a bit, take off, get the gear up, adjust my, so you'll see the gear go from down to up. I should be able to adjust my trim to give one division of nose up once I'm airborne. Once I've done that, I can adjust my prop pitch. That's this lever. If you look at the inset, that's this lever over here. That adjusts my prop pitch. I need to adjust it so that I get 2,700 revs. And once I've done that, I can close the canopy. We don't close the canopy to start. We don't start with a closed canopy, because if I have an accident, the ground crew want to be able to pull me out of this aircraft straight away. They don't want to have to smash through a canopy to get to me, to get me out. So the canopy is left open. When I'm taken off, once I've done all that, set my RPM, I can then close my canopy. Likewise, when I come into land, I need to put my prop pitch fully fine and open my canopy. That also gives a bit of drag, so it helps me to slow down for landing, and it's a safety thing as well for getting me out. There comes Laxor, I think. Yeah, Laxor has this mission running on his server, so it's his mission, his server, so he's running it. Flying a chopper is another game altogether. Okay, I'm going to think about taking off. So as I said, it's stick back, full right aileron, but first of all, brake off. Otherwise, I will nose over. There we go.
Definitely confusing seeing a Huey in a propeller plane LMing.
Okay, can't talk for a minute, hold on. Adjust my prop pitch. And close my canopy. Now I can turn on my sight. And make my guns ready. There's a little pip there at the top of the stick. That pip came up when I made the guns ready. They're no longer safe. I can shoot stuff. Oh, I've lost my sight. I must have pushed my switch too far. Not sure how many of these are already dead. All of them by the looks of it. No, there's a couple that... There's this one nearest to us, I think. It's difficult to see. Once they've been hit once, it's very difficult to see if they're actually alive or not. Oh, I can see one. Where the train is now, there's that nearest one to the train. That's still alive, so I'll go for that one. I can shoot the train if I want to as well.
If you could have any vehicle in the game, which would it be?
Spitfire. Without doubt.
That you don't already have, haha.
Oh right. Well, I don't think there is anything. I've got what I need. What I would like them to introduce, which is not available yet, is the Hurricane. If I could have the Spitfire and the Hurricane, that would be heaven. But they haven't got the Hurricane yet. I'm not sure they will, because we've got other warbirds that people can use. The Hurricane and the Spitfire are probably too similar for them to want to spend time on that at the moment.
Also sorry if I don't respond, I am very sleepy lol.
Oh, that happens to me. Even when I'm flying, the drone of the engine can do that for me. Now the thing about the Spitfire that I didn't mention earlier on,
Is there anything in particular that got you interested in warbirds?
well, I used to fly something called World of Warplanes, which is done with the mouse. Well, I did it with a mouse. And then Laxor pointed out, have you tried this game? And he pointed out War Thunder. And that was great. But then he said, have you tried pressing F2? And I pressed F2 and it put me in the cockpit. Instead of seeing it in third person, I was seeing it the way we should see it. So that was it. Flying in first person was absolutely what I wanted. And then later on they introduced me to DCS, this one, and it's absolutely incredible. I just love aircraft. I love the Spit. I'm totally in love with the Spit. I'm not a nerd over it. I don't know. There's loads of stuff I don't know about it, but I just love it. I just love flying it. Love looking at it. It's beautiful. I'll go for a landing. So prop pitch fully fine, and open the canopy. Gear down.
What are your opinions on ground warfare?
I don't really have any. Hang on, I can't think of anything at the moment. I'm landing. I'll put my flaps down. This takes an awful lot of care and concentration. I'm not into tanks. If you know, with War Thunder, you've got the tanks and the boats. No, they don't do it for me. Not even the tanks. They don't do it for me. I like aircraft. Oh, shouldn't be talking. That was a bumpy one. It was a bumpy landing, but it ended up in roughly the right place. Yeah, so ground warfare. I used to like, with War Thunder, I used to enjoy the ground forces battles, because I could take a Spit that I
What is your favourite era of war?
World War Two. Yeah, favourite era it is World War Two. But I could take a Spit or a Hurricane that I wanted, and there's no markers. And earlier on, you could tell which aircraft to go for, because they didn't have like Swedish and Chinese and stuff in it. It was just like the basics. It's like Axis and Allied, but the basics. So you could avoid shooting down your own people. With no markers, it's important that you know who you're about to shoot at by recognition, and that's why it got worse for me, because of all the different countries, all those different aircraft. To know them all, it's just impossible for me. So dangerous for me to do ground battles. Yeah, I'll move to one side. Stand by. I'm going to move to the left. As if you're coming on from the way. Which way are you coming from? You're coming from the east, yeah?
No, I'm parked up, so I can go either way. Right, I'll be flying out west, but if you're closer to the east end of the runway, then you'll be clear anyway.
No, I was asking for just so I
What
could
about
tell you correctly
realistic
that I'll be
instead
on
of
the
sim?
left of the runway. I'll move off to the left side of the runway. Stand by.
So I think you, depending where you are, I might be coming out onto the runway after you.
Oh yeah, not impossible. I'll move off anyway. Yeah, stand by. Well, like most people, I started off in
Yeah, I'm in front of you.
sorry?
I'm in front of you.
Oh, I see you. Yeah, okay, I see you. Yeah, like most people, I started off in arcade and then moved to realistic. But when I got into sim, I decided that was definitely way the best. Yeah, it takes a little bit more looking at, a bit more care. But you have to start your engine in sim, whereas in realistic, your engine is already running, isn't it, when you spawn in? So you have to start your engine. It's only a simple little thing, but there's all sorts of other things about sim. You know, you don't get the radar thing on sim, which I wouldn't have in a Spitfire, would I? In a Spitfire, I wouldn't have had radar. So to me, that all felt so much better. So realistic was a step along the way, but I settled on sim and never went back.
So you play VR?
No, it's not VR, it's track IR. So I've got a cap, and on that cap I've got a clip, and that clip has got 3 little LEDs. There's a camera on the top of the monitor, and that captures where the LEDs are, so it knows which way I'm looking, and it makes the picture turn according to the way I'm looking. And of course, I can't, if I want to look behind me, I can't actually turn my head 180 degrees around, so I won't see the screen. So it's all amplified. So as I move around now, I'm looking at basically the left hand side of the screen, but I'm seeing behind me on the aircraft because it's amplified. Something that you might be interested in for War Thunder is Voice Attack. Do you know that program, Voice Attack?
Not really.
It's worth a look, really. I use it. The beauty of it is that I've almost never have to touch my keyboard. Now, I don't know how it works for you with the way you do it, but for me, I don't want to reach forward and try to find stuff on the keyboard. So I use Voice Attack. It means I give a command verbally via my microphone. It gets recognized and does what I've told it to do when I give that command. Such as, if I want to get, I'll tell you what, I'll get reloaded. I'm not damaged, I don't need repair. I'll get reloaded. So what I'm going to do, you probably hear a blip and then me speak. Well, you won't hear me speak, but a blip and then a bloop. And between those blip bloops, I will say whatever I need to say, like F8 for ground crew as an example, and it will do it for me. I don't have to touch any buttons on the keyboard or whatever. Let's just do that. And of course it fails the very first time I want to demonstrate it. I'll try again.
So.
No, sorry, I was talking to my stream really, and I pushed the
Okay.
wrong button. Just demonstrating a voice attack, and of course the very first time I want to demonstrate it, it doesn't
Right.
go. I'll carry on. I'll jump back on my stream again. Okay, so I'll try that again. And I've just realised it was perfectly correct. It was perfectly correct. It's me that was wrong. I have to say comms first to get the comms menu up. Let's do that. So there you are. There's the comms menu. I will now say F8. I'll now say F1.
Oh dang, I'm really sorry, I have to go now. I will try to join back later.
Okay, consider this voice attack though, Josh. It's worth it, and it's free. That's the point. It's free. The small version is free. Give it a look at. Take care. I might catch you later. We'll probably be on for another half an hour, for another hour.
Request rearming.
Copy. Rearming complete.
Roger, I've just taken off.
Are you working the eastern targets then?
No, I'm going for fighters. Copy. I've picked up damage, so I'm R2B. I'm not R2B anymore, my engine just quit.
Ah, okay.
No way can I get back to a engine that's stopped.
I think I see a smoke trail.
Yeah, I think there's some ground units in front of me. I might go for them on my way down. Okay, it looks as though I have another viewer, or Josh is back. Would you like a particular aircraft, or should I just take a Spit again? That's my favourite anyway, but P-47, P-51, Harrier, whatever. I'm thinking I might fold it there because I'll be.
Yeah, I just noticed it was 2.
Yeah, well, I'll be turning tomorrow, hopefully. So
Okay, right.
making the. Did I tell you about the trophy base?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've got me piece and I've made it round and I'll start actual work on it tomorrow, perhaps. I've got the
Nice.
the nameplate as well from your cousin.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Really looks good. Really looks good. So yeah, so I'll be looking at that tomorrow. I don't wanna be up too late. I wanna be able to get started as soon after lunch as poss. So I'll shove off. Catch you next Friday, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Thanks for running the server. TTFN.
That's right. Thanks for joining. Take care.
Ta-ta. Likewise for my server. For my stream, anyone watching, thank you. And good night.